Okay, I'm going to do a simplified version of the chest knight. So I'm going to come up here to the front view, maximum minimum. I'm going to start off with a line, and I'm going to trace the profile of the knight using these straight lines. And close the spline. And I'm going to go to modify, vertex, split, which you should be used to doing that by now if you've done the other pieces. And I'm just going to add some curvature. Doesn't have to be exact to the image. Okay, so now I'm just going to add an extrude modifier. And I'm going to come around to the side view here, and I have here the amount that I'm going to extrude it. So what I'm going to try to do is extrude it the same amount left and right. I'm going to start increasing this here. That's probably too much. Go back down. Oh, I'm already going down. Go back up. So let's say that looks good for about half. So I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna move it to the left and then extrude it the same amount again. Uh, and again, I'm trying to line this up to so that half of it is in front of the picture and half of it is behind the picture. That looks pretty good. Let's try to get that plane back showing. Go to the front view. It's tough because the plane doesn't show when I rotate up, so I'm going to try to move it a little bit so I can see how much of it is in front, how much of it is behind. Yeah, so you can see there that I need to move it a little bit forward. I'm just going to click on it, go to that y-axis, slide it forward a little bit. That looks good. All right, so I've taken out the idea that the inside part of the knight is kind of extruded further than the outer part of the knight. We just extruded the entire thing the same amount. So that's what makes this kind of the easier version. And then so I'm going to do another line, and I'm going to trace the mane, and I'm going to kind of make sure that I start and end inside of this knight shape here because I'm going to wind up attaching these two pieces together. Let me start there, go up. Actually, let's go to wireframe so I can see where my point is. Okay, I can go back to that at the end when I have to close out this spline. I'm going to go to wireframe now and trace it just along the inside of. So this is I pressed F3 by the way to get to wireframe, and I just want to trace it just along the inside of the existing knight structure. finish where I started, close the spline. All right, I can press. I'm going to leave it here actually. And I'm going to go to modify, vertex, fillet. Again, add some curvature. And I'm not even really concerned about what's inside because you're not going to be able to see it anyway. So, all right, press my F3. I'm just going to add an extrude modifier there again. And I'm going to, again, go to the side view. And this one needs to be less than the other one. So, say let's call that about maybe 25. Then I need to move this and center it on the other part of the night. That looks good there. All right. And then lastly, I need to do the lathe at the bottom. So I'm going to go to line again. I'm going to start just above there to make sure that that it overlaps with the night. Hold my shift to get vertical, hold my shift to get horizontal. And then I'm just tracing along here, vertical again. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I go to wireframe, go back to where I started, and close my spline. And then I'm gonna go to modifier, vertex, fillet, add a little bit of curvature. All right. And then I'm gonna do a lathe, min, and that's it, and that is done. So I've got my simplified version of my knife here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach all three of these because right now I have three different lines and I'm going to attach them to make them one line. So I'm going to go back to my the main portion here. Also, by the way, here I want to make sure that this main portion is kind of centered on this bottom portion. How big or small it is doesn't matter a ton, but it does need to be. You do want it to be centered on there. Go back to my lathe here real quick. I'm going to hit the weld core, kind of fix that little missing area here. Back to the main portion.